Hi everyone, this is Bob with CellTechProductions.com. In this video, we're going to take a look at reducing string noise on an acoustic electric guitar. So let's get started. What I have pulled up here is an acoustic electric track recorded by my buddy Mark. In the last video, we used this track to mix his DI and mic track. And the one thing I mentioned in that video was the need to reduce the string noise. Now, I referred you to a video I did several years ago called Reducing Acoustic Guitar String Noise. And in that video, I used an EQ and a de-esser to solve my problem. Well, just because that technique worked on that track doesn't mean it's going to work on this track. So I thought I'd share with you my technique that worked in this case. Now, as I've mentioned before, you expect to hear string, fret noise when someone's playing an acoustic or an acoustic electric guitar. No different than you expect to hear breath when someone sings. So we'll look for the most offending parts and try to reduce it. We don't want to remove it because, like I said, it sounds natural and we expect to hear it. So let's listen to this one section of the song and we'll see what we can do with it. Here we go. So here was the most offending part. You can see this big spike in the waveform right here. So let's take a listen to this one part here. So that big squeak right there, what we're going to do is we're going to find that frequency. And when we do that, it's pretty much going to work for the rest of the track. So here's my plug-in chain. Right here I start with EQ, and then I have a compressor, and then I have a stereo delay. Now, I could just go to this EQ and find the offending frequency and just pull it out. So, well, let's try that first. So let me play it. So I can see that squeak is right in this area here. Let's play it again. Yeah, so you can see it pop up right there. So it's between 2,000 and 3,000. So I'm gonna grab, let's see, we'll grab this one here and we'll just pull it up, narrow the Q, and let's try that right around there. So what I'm doing is boosting this, and then I'm making it worse, right? So I'm boosting it up to try to find what frequency that squeak is. So I'm just moving this around, trying to get it to sound worse, and I think its worst spot was around 2,600. So what I'm going to do now is just pull that down. So that made a pretty big difference. Well, what's the problem with doing this? Now those frequencies that I've cut, this 2,600, is affecting the rest of the mix. Other than this loud squeak, this frequency sounds good. So what I'm doing now is destroying the tone of my guitar by cutting this frequency range that otherwise sounds good. So that's really not a good idea. So let's note the frequency, which is 2,600, and let's reset this EQ now. So I'm going to turn that band off. So here's what we're going to do. Let's add another EQ. And let's put the same frequency in here, 2,600, and let's just pull that all the way out. And we're going to narrow this Q back down here to, what did we have that worked pretty well? I think it was about 2, yeah, 2.0. So I put the second EQ in the chain with the same frequency cut, and then now I'm going to automate when it's active. So we're done with this. Now, where do I want to put this in my chain here? Do I want to put it before or after the compressor? Now, you could experiment, or you may have some good arguments either way, but generally, when I'm trying to remove something that sounds bad, I tend to do it before I compress. It makes sense to me to remove offending frequencies before I make it louder. So I'm going to move this up here to before the compressor. Now, I'm going to turn this one off because we want this bypassed most of the time. So we'll just automate when we want it on. Now I'm going to go to the automation lane, and in Logic, I hit A to get the automation lane. And the default in Logic is the channel volume. Well, I don't want that, right? So I need, I can see EQ1, there's EQ2. But I really don't want that because that's all the parameters, as you can see here, for the EQ. So what I want is this main channel, and then I can come down here and I can see insert 1, insert 2, and my EQ is my second insert. So this is the way for me to bypass it. So let me select that. And since we have it off, there's a little line it's hard to see here, but you can see its bypass. So I'm going to zoom into this area that I want to work in right now. I'll put my playhead right on the squeak. That's this spot right here. That's the spike in the waveform. So I'll put the playhead right there. And what I want to do is create 4 points. So I'm just double clicking here. And I want 2 before, 2 after. Let me move the playhead out of the way. And now what I can do is grab in the middle here and just pull down. So there's only 2 parameters on this plugin. It's bypassed and on, right? So this area right here where the squeak is, it's on. And now I can adjust these points as to, when I want it to come on and off. So you can see, I'll zoom in a little bit more here. You can see I have the plug-in coming on right where the squeak is and then going right back off. So let's take a listen to that. So what I'm going to do now is duplicate this track, make a copy of this, and then we'll just remove this second EQ plug-in. So now we can hear the original, which is this one. And here's with our automated EQ. So there you go, guys. A great way to deal with string noise by adding a second EQ and automating as necessary. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.